So, good evening once again, everyone. And, you know, um, it's always great to, coming back here, taking sessions, sharing my experience. It's always nice, sometimes sharing your experience, learning from each other. With keeping that in mind, a quote and a question for today's session that I read this somewhere that great leaders, great personalities are born, but great leaders are made. With that being said, let me ask you a powerful question. What if I told you that the leadership strategies written over 2000 years ago are success today? Any guesses who am I talking about? Any guesses of who's the personality who I am planning to talk about?
Yeah, Chanakya.
Thank you. Yes, I'm talking about the wisdom of Chanakya, also known as Kautalya or Vishnugupta, the brilliant strategist who guided Chandragupta Maurya to establish one of the greatest empires in the history. What happens is that there are a lot of different personalities. If you look at it from today's angle, or even from the past, if you look at it, there are great personalities, but there are a couple of things very much in common with all these personalities. Yes, we are all lifelong learners, but then there's something unique about every personality whom you take up. Or you will have a personality which you look up to as your guru or as your mentor, maybe not directly, but then you watch his videos and you know update yourself, upgrade yourself. We all still keep learning, isn't it? So basically what happened is that I came across listening to this audiobook, or even I've read couple of pages from that book, which is called the I think it's called Corporate Chanakya or Corporate something. Just give me a second. I'll just check the book name which I was reading. And yeah, Corporate Chanakya. Basically, this author who's called Radha Krishna Pillai, who talks about Chanakya Niti. Actually, that book inspired me, or I got to know different leadership skills or leadership qualities or leadership lessons from this book or this segment of Chanakya Niti. So, in today's session, we'll dive into 7 timeless leadership lessons from Chanakya Niti that are relevant in our corporate boardrooms, classrooms, and personal lives as they were in ancient palaces. By the end, you shall know how to lead yourself and others with vision, discipline, and influence. So stay with me and let's uncover the secrets of Chanakya Niti for leadership. If anyone gets a chance to read this book, I would highly suggest pick it up. Or even I can share you the link under this video for the audiobook of this particular book if you like listening to audiobooks. So let's understand, let it be entrepreneurship, or let it be you starting your own business, or you starting your own startup. Okay. First lesson is, or first leadership lesson is to understand what is your vision and your strategy. Once Chanakya said, a man without a plan is like a house without a foundation. Think about this. Chanakya had bold vision to unite India under one strong ruler. That's why he chose Chandragupta Maurya, trained him, and built a strategy that for us, vision is the starting point of leadership. If you don't know where you are going, how will others follow you? As someone said, that leadership is not just about titles, it's about taking ownership of what you present or what you give out back to the society. Let's take the example of today's modern example. Every successful startup or leader begins with a strong vision, whether it's Elon Musk with space travel or Narayana Murthy with Infosys. Let's pause for a second and just understand what's your one line vision for your life or career, because I believe clarity is power. So what's your one line vision for your life or career? Shabana, would you like to share something on this question?
Can you repeat the question again? Sorry.
Yes. What's your one line vision for your life or career?
I think,
Or
yeah, promoting research and learning as the solution for every problem. That is my mission.
okay, okay, thank you. Thank you. Naveen sir, would you like to add something?
Well, I'm not very sure because I've never had that kind of a situation where I've taken up many
Okay.
major leadership role. In fact, I'm not sure about that at all. I mean, how to
Okay.
do it actually.
Okay. Okay. Good. No problem. Meena ji, would you like to add something? I think she seems to be busy. Good evening, Prem sir. Let me just repeat the question. Okay, not really. Okay. So, maybe you can just start thinking from this, with this question from today onwards, that what's your one line vision for your life or your career? Or it can be any aspect or any vertical of your life. It can be anything. It's not necessarily it has to be your career. Maybe it's something that you follow something. Maybe you follow value system which takes you forward to which takes you to greater heights. Might be that. So ponder over it, and maybe we can come back to this little later, or because I believe clarity is power. So connecting this as your next point or this next second, the lesson number 2, which is your self discipline and self mastery, isn't it? Many a times we tell either our children or to people whom we start training or in our organization that many a times you know discipline comes into play. I think this is one thing which I always go back, you know going back and reading the learnings of Chanakya. This is one thing, uh, you know I found it so impactful. He who cannot control himself or herself cannot control others. Because leadership begins with self leadership. When I say self leadership, it's about taking ownership of your own actions. It's just that I am taking the reference from a personality like Chanakya, which I resonate many times because with people it might change. I respect that. It's just that I like taking examples from him. It's just my perspective to it. Chanakya himself lived simply despite being the most powerful advisor of his time. He practiced being focused and even being self disciplined. Because I believe in today's age, many a times more than discipline, motivation is spoken a lot. In our lives, if we cannot control our anger, our laziness, or our distractions, we cannot even inspire others to follow us. And yes, we have we all of us or different individuals will have different rituals which builds our inner discipline or which builds our discipline every day. Many a times it can be habits. Many a times we have a habit, we want to change it, but then we struggle the most. Just ponder over this, that what is it one habit you struggle most to control? Is it procrastination? Is it overthinking? Or is it distractions? Or it can be a different, habit altogether which you struggle to control the most, or which you find it to break. Breaking a habit is not very easy. So many times breaking a habit is also difficult. Many, at least today, I think distractions and procrastination is things which I find people this choosing the right people. Many times, we seek for guidance, but then we don't know whom to go and ask. We might go and ask the wrong people just because we don't know who's the right person to approach, and we search for answers in the wrong places or with wrong people. But I think it's also equally important to choose your right people, even if you have to go ask something. But in this case, Chanakya was very clear. Success depends on the people who you surround yourself with. He said, before you start work, ask, why am I doing it? What might be the result? And will I succeed? Or many a times, as simple as that, if I have to give you another example to the same situation, is how many of you have read the book Start with Why by Simon Sinek? It's okay, Meenaji, it's okay, carry on. I think many of you must have read it or you must have heard about this book called Start with Why, which was authored by Simon Sinek. Many a times, if our why is strong, the what and other things gets automatically, answered there. So with that being said, he didn't pick the strongest warrior or the richest prince. He picked young Chandragupta because he saw the potential. In modern leadership, your team, your mentors, and your network decide your growth. But we need to choose it wisely. We need to choose it wisely. I shall share. Many times I've been come back with this feedback that you're over matured for your age. But I go back and telling you know people or whoever comes back with me to this feedback, I go back and tell them that only one thing, that the kind of people whom I interact, whom I talk to, the kind of things I listen to, the kind of things I read, the kind of things I watch, I'm mindful of that because your mind gets easily influenced about something. Isn't it? Many a times we watch a movie, it takes us some time to snap out of that movie or that after movie effect which we all feel at many times in different scenarios, not only with movies is one simple example which I feel, which I've seen also. Whoever is listening to this right now or listening to this later, can you think of 3 qualities you would want in a teammate or with your business partner or with yourself? What are the 3 qualities would you want to built or which you feel you have in you, which makes you a better person. Many a times we play different roles. We take up different leadership roles. Let it be in our personal space, let it be in our professional space, let it be in our social life, let it be in our different aspects of life. We play different roles and responsibilities. How many roles do we play in a day? As a friend, brother, as a husband, as a father, we play different roles, isn't it? All of us. We play different roles. But that different roles needs different leadership qualities in yourself. Or it is a combination of two, one or one or more quality in you. With that being said, going to the next lesson 4, which is decisiveness and courage. He said once that you start working on something and you shouldn't be afraid of failure and abandon it. Many a times we don't start something just because thinking, what if it fails? Or that limiting belief which we start getting into. If we have to take this, this platform where everyday sessions happen, Shabana ma'am would have started with some idea, but somewhere it will change. But the consistency is what makes the difference, or that discipline is what makes the difference. But that courage is what makes the difference. Maybe she could have stopped that there's no audience right here, or the audience less. She could have, but some we never know where it would take a like a huge turn in a positive way. When he set out to overthrow the, I'm just taking few stories as a reference from the book. When he set how to overthrow the corrupt king, Dhanananda, he faced countless failures, but he never gave up. Leadership also comes with, or it means that you start taking bold decisions even when the outcome is uncertain, or when indecision is worse than failure. I'll just give a simple framework which I many a times use or in different situations. It can change, but then it is a 3C rule which I use, which is clarity, confidence, and commitment. In spite of your failures, in spite of your setbacks, in spite of your adversities, if you're clear in what we want to do, and if we have the if we have the clarity, we have the confidence and the commitment to do. In simple terms, if you have clarity of purpose, confidence in your preparation, and commitment to act, you're already ahead of 90% of people. When was the last time you made a tough decision quickly and it paid off? If you can just ponder over this question, when was the last time you made a tough decision and it paid off? It can be different, you know, it can be different things for different people. Uh, I would share a personal experience as an answer for this question. I still like to be that to some extent, I like that introvertedness in me. But then when I started my career as a trainer, many of them came back and asked me, "You are very quiet, and how are you going to, be in this kind of a career where you will have to talk more?" If I had believed that day, maybe today I might not be sitting here. What am I doing currently? I think it was a tough decision when I was constantly hearing from people the same question that how are you going to handle in this career when you don't talk much. Because these kinds of session or this kind of story or this kind of segment can be little thought provoking. It will be thought provoking, but then many a times these kinds of when you start hearing these kind of open-ended statements or questions or stories from different people, many a times I myself, when I hear these kinds of things, it puts me to a deep mind work or deep thought work, where you start self-introspecting, self-reflecting, and sometimes that change of something which we think was true, or you feel okay, now it's, I think I need to change something somewhere. Because today world is changing in such a fast space. But again, one major adjective what I would say is balance. Balance, trust with vigilance. Let me repeat that. Leaders must learn or must balance and trust with vigilance. It's about being informed about your setbacks, being informed about your adversities. It can be different things. If you take up any business, in today's modern example, if you take up any business which balances ethics with smart business decisions, leading with integrity but never compromising competitiveness, or in a simple way, if you have to put this, lead with values but you keep your eyes open. Don't let kindness turn into your weakness. When I say this, another personality which comes in my mind is this Akbar and Birbal. As a child, you must have heard these stories of Akbar and Birbal, right? How many of you have heard of stories of that particular characters? Anyone who has heard?
Yes, the Akbar Birbal story we've all heard.
So that brings us to the next, lesson, which is adaptability. I think different personalities, different leaders put this in a different way, but Chanakya taught adaptability. He said, as a tree bends in the storm but doesn't break, so should a wise man adapt. Let me repeat that statement. As a tree bends in the storm but doesn't break, so should a wise man adapt. We'll have downfalls, we'll have pitfalls, we'll have shortcomings, we have roadblocks, we have hurdles. But we need to start adapting to the situation. When the pandemic hit, that's when online started started becoming popular, isn't it? But still, we adapted. Even he had to change strategies multiple times before succeeding with Chandragupta. As leaders, adaptability is survival. And as I said earlier, pandemic or COVID-19 taught us that businesses that adapted thrived while rigid ones collapsed. Now think for yourself. Would you describe yourself as a flexible or rigid as a leader? And that brings us to the last, lesson, which is people-centric leadership. Finally, Chanakya reminded us that the king's happiness lies in the happiness of his subjects. So true leadership is not about power, it's about service. Chanakya ensured Chandragupta's rule was centered around people's welfare, not just politics. In today's world, servant leadership is the most powerful form of influence. Look at customer first. They earn loyalty and respect. With that being said, the last one, you know, uh, thing which I want everyone to ponder upon is either write or think of one thing you can do this week to make your team, family, or customers' life better. Even a small act counts. So just to wrap up the session in 7 pointers. First is your vision and strategy, discipline and self-mastery, trusting the right people. Fourth is having the courage. Fifth is which we spoke about the ethics. Sixth is adaptability, and seventh is your people-centric leadership. But the message is very clear. True leadership is a blend of vision, virtue, and vigilance. If you found value today, you know, if you found your value today, or if you're still on the process of finding your value, your vision, or your leadership, maybe I think it's time to pause and reflect back to the different roles and responsibilities which we play, and whoever is looking out or hears something which I can give you the link for. Actually, this session was inspired from there, and I came across through this couple of podcasts of Radha Krishna Pillai about this particular segment. And finally, thank you everyone. Remember, great leaders are not born, they are made, and you can start shaping yours today. Thank you.
Thank you, Darshani. Anyone want to share? Premji, Navinji? So I think everyone agrees to it. Yeah, Navinji
Oh
wants.
my God.
I mean, I don't know. This whole leadership issue has always been some kind of a mystery to me, and I really
It's,
don't know how to
it's
go
okay.
about
It's okay.
making this thing of good leaders. Because I am a little apprehensive in the sense that I always have felt that leaders have to have some kind of crookish kind of an attitude in them, and a very decent and a nice human being and a sharif admi cannot become a leader. So I've always been apprehensive about this thing of becoming a leader.
I respect your perspective, sir. So it's okay. Different people will have different perspective, and I respect that. This is just, I just felt like to share this here for today's session. Maybe, I don't know. That's what it is. Thank you. Thank you for hearing me out for the whole session. Thank you so much.
Premji also want to add. Yeah.
Yes, Prince.
Yeah, Oh yeah, namaste. 2 cents. I come from. I would say I'm 67. My career has been about evolving in leadership and different types of leadership. But I realized, even though there were different types of leadership realms, what I had to pay attention to was good followership. That for me was very fundamental. Unless one is a good follower, then one does not make a very good leader. And leadership means different things to different people. Military leadership is different, police leadership is different, business leadership is different. There are a lot of gurus out there, John Maxwell, etc., etc. They talk about leadership. I read their books, I listened to their audios, and I went along realizing different aspects of leadership. And of course, we are very commonly we sometimes get apprehensive about political leadership. That's a different realm altogether. But Chanakya was a very profound a strategist, and if I would say, the little bit of reading I did about him, he would remind me of a lot of people out there, like Sun Tzu, for example. He is on very highly regarded as a leader, leadership principle. So this topic, even though I was in a very difficult position to sound to listen to, but it intrigues, really, really intriguing principles of leadership. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Actually, first I was like thinking, should I do this or should I not do this? But then yes, let me do it.
Yeah. Thank you for doing it. It's a good reminder.
Okay, if that's the case, thank you so much.
So thank you, everyone. And see you again tomorrow.
Thank you, Mavin sir. Thank you, Prem sir.
Thank you.